Welcome to CDK Live. Today I have Joe Shaker with me, owner of Shaker Automotive Group and CEO and co-founder of True Video. Welcome, Joe.
Hey, nice to be here.
Thanks. So today we're going to talk about AI in the service department. So Joe, CDK recently did a study that shows 77% of dealers have as their number one strategy to improve customer experience. So how do you see that AI would help the dealers, and realistically, with that achieving that goal?
Well, first, let me talk about customer experience. If you look today, dealers have an existential threat with Rivian, Tesla, and stuff. So it's incumbent upon dealers today to really keep that game going and upping the game. And one way to do that is through the use of artificial intelligence. And the way that we see it being used is as an assist to really help advisors and communicate. 98% of customer experience is how well or how poorly you communicate, and AI is a big help with that. And we've seen that in some of the stuff that we do with CDK. When you're able to have someone message you in their language and then be able to message them back. And I don't think there's anything, when people talk about personalization and all these marketing buzzwords, I don't really think there's anything more personal than speaking to someone in their own language. So those are the little things, and there's many more, but it's not going to take over positions. It's going to be an unbelievable assist in the near term, helping people be more professional.
So Joe, you have a unique perspective because you're both a dealer and a technology partner. So how does this change the way you think about solutions and as you develop new solutions?
So we have a saying both at the dealer group and the saying at True Video, and that is theory without execution is hallucination. So we don't like to hallucinate. And it's kind of true, but there's a lot of great ideas. So what we do is, my partner is a technologist. We call him the brains of the operation. I'm an auto dealer, but our real smart intelligence comes from us testing stuff with the best 20 groups, the best dealer groups, and then we have a spin on it, but we don't think we're the spin. And so there's many different things that we do that have to make sense. We like to use technologies, but we want to block and tackle well and be fundamentally sound. A lot of people want to make these shiny objects that look cool, but if they're not executable, if it doesn't transform the experience, it's a complete waste of time.
Right. So I've heard you use the term one ecosystem, when you're talking as a dealer and a technology partner. So tell me a little bit more about what you mean by the one ecosystem.
So we're in the middle of NADA here, and there's all these technologies, right?
Yeah.
And so dealers and OEMs, like I said earlier, are trying to get together, work together. And when they try to get and work together, sharing data, owning and curating data is incredibly important. To own and curate data with 18 million things attached to the DMS is not going to work.
Right.
So I think that the one ecosystem dealers want to operate in, and they want that one ecosystem, but the OEM wants one ecosystem because they need one point of truth on data to be able to own and curate data properly.
Right.
So you can't provide those great experiences without getting our arms around this whole situation.
Yeah.
And I think that that's very important, both from the user and from an OEM perspective.
So as you mentioned, we're at NADA and everyone's talking AI and ChatGPT. So tell me what you're doing different than some of the other vendors that are out there today.
So first, everybody talks about data forever, right? We always talk about data. And everybody says, what do you do with data? How do you use data? Well, luckily for us, we had 100 million conversations, and we had like 30 million videos of technicians describing stuff to customers that we summarized. So we were able to take and ingest that data that I don't know if we would have known what to do with outside of AI coming, and really create insightful conversations. So when you see some tools are, oh, we have ChatGPT plugin. Well, that's great, but our customers aren't text messaging us, asking us who the fifth president is. That's not really what's important. It's things that relate to their vehicle. So when you have the data and it's loaded in and it's trained properly, you can properly take care of the customer. When you just have ChatGPT plugged in, that's not a solution. We say ChatGPT could be a recipe, is an ingredient in part of your recipe. But most really great AI models have great training. Data is trained with great data, and they're part of a recipe of algorithms and all sorts of stuff that creates this great recipe that's applicable to you and your industry.
So on the dealership side, what are the gaps that you're seeing both at your dealerships and the other dealers that you've utilized this in? What are you seeing addressed by AI?
So we released with you guys a few examples. I'll give real examples. We released what you call Ava and that virtual assistant, right? So advisors take about 25 or 30% of their calls trying to make appointments. Hold on, customers are in front of them. Dealers are saying, get out from behind the desk and go spend time with the customer, but you want me to answer the phone call at the same time. So having a set of rules and where you never have a customer on hold, I can make one 24/7 and do all sorts of things like that, basically are great. And then to have the summaries so that we can reflect back with the customer and the differences that Ava brings to market versus the others with this really true Gen 3 conversational AI. These are things that actually help employees and help that gap of, why don't you get out from behind the desk? Well, I can't, I'm taking an appointment call. Well, that goes to the BDC, but how many people are in there? Well, we only have one. If we have two, it's too much expense. That needs to be taken care of there. That's a gap. Another gap is with the AI suite, we can tell how a customer feels right now in our sentiment analysis. And it's not like sentiment that you buy off a shelf, it's sentiment analysis that we've trained for automotive. So I don't need to wait for a survey. Surveys are 4 days late. Customer already told their friends they can't stand us and they wrote 3 bad surveys. With the AI, I can tell how a customer feels right now. And that's something that we're offering. Good example, because I'm a dealer, would be if I see a customer's tone of voice is a little loud or their body language is off, I walk right up to them and say, what's going on? You're a great customer. We're a great dealer. Let's take care of it. And generally, I proved myself to the customer. They become a great long-term customer. Right. But without being there to stare at every single person, it's not possible, not scalable. But with sentiment analysis, if someone has a very negative comment, it'll text the manager in under 3 seconds so they can reach out to that customer now. That's the gaps that we're filling.
But you're doing it even better because you're not looking at like a single word, never. Like, hey, yes. I love this place, but I'll never go to another dealership.
Right, that's a really good point. So it was very hard to train sentiment analysis because right now, if I bought it out of the box and someone said, I would never do business anyplace else, that is like a fabulous comment, right. Very positive. But because the word never was used, the out-of-the-box solutions would say that's a negative comment, and it would text the manager. And the last thing you want to do is start texting the manager with all things that aren't right. Right. The second thing is you want to have really good sentiment, and you need to understand the context in which people speak at car dealerships or trucking dealerships or anywhere else for that matter.
Right, right. So, Joe, again, in your experience as both a dealer and a technology vendor, what do you think the next 3 to 5 years will be like when it comes to AI in the service department specifically?
Well, in service specifically, I think we're going to be able to take care of the customer on any channel. So we talk about Ava here, and you're just talking about telephony, but we're not going to have that in 4 months, 2 months, I think, with you. You will be able to message. I think most people are going to want to message through a concierge. I don't think there's anything, I don't think a service schedule online is used in volume ever after 2025, in 2025. Yeah. Because when you ask customers, how would you like to make an appointment? Of course, everybody would like to call a live person and have them be waiting and not doing anything else, but that's unrealistic. So if I can deal with someone 24/7 live, never put me on hold is great. But if I can message that same AI brain behind everything, I'd rather message. So those are types of moves that you'll see based on customer preferences, how they want to communicate, but using that same tech, the same learnings to serve them better on whatever channel they choose to use.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The scheduler was just one example.
Right.
But that's like if I tell somebody online scheduler is not going to be used after 2025, people go, whoa, what are you talking about, right? And that's not the case.
Yeah, yeah. So basically everything that you've shared with us, which is amazing, where we're going with AI, is helping the dealer reach that goal, that improving the customer experience. So I appreciate you coming, sharing all of your, your wisdom, your, like I said, unique experience being both a dealer and a technology vendor today discussing AI. So thank you, Joe.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Anytime I can hang out with you, it's a good talk service. I love it.
Thanks, Joe.